Social media marketing agency owners are going to thrive in a recession, but only if you do the 3 things that I'm going to be covering in this video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Liam Casey. I've been an agency owner for over 4 years now. I've scaled my agency to high multi-six figures in annual profit, and I'm here just to share what I've learned along the way so that you can make less of the mistakes that I made and hopefully scale your agency significantly quicker. Also as well, if you want more high-level agency content, subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be putting out 1 to 2 videos like this every single week, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out. So one thing that is blindingly obvious is that we are living in uncertain times. We've just been through a pandemic. There's wars going on around the world, and there is constant talk of a looming recession. And so we need to be positioning ourselves accordingly. We need to be educated as business owners, and we need to be making sure that we are not just preparing ourselves for the effects of a recession, but also positioning ourselves so that we don't just survive through uncertain times and a potential recession, but actually thrive and are able to capitalize and take advantage of the opportunities that arise in those conditions. Being in this marketing agency business model, we are situated perfectly to take advantage of the opportunities that arise in recessions because of how nimble that we can be. And what I want you to start thinking about your agency as, which I think not many people think of their agency as, is at its core, we're in the business of client acquisition. We're not selling necessarily social media marketing services. We're selling an outcome of helping our clients generate more customers and clients. That's at its core what we're doing. And if we think about it, businesses aren't going anywhere. There's always going to be businesses as long as there is humans on this planet. Businesses are always going to need customers. And so as long as there's businesses and as long as businesses need customers, then marketing agencies are always going to be able to help those businesses get customers. Social media marketing just happens to be the medium by which that we are helping clients get customers. And so what we need to be doing is thinking about, okay, how is the landscape changing in terms of the services that we're providing and the types of industries and niches that we're serving so that we're situating ourselves appropriately to capitalize on the opportunities that arise during a recession or to mitigate the risks associated with a potential recession. So the strategies that I'm about to break down will mean that you're not just going to survive through a recession, but your agency is actually going to thrive and you should be able to grow significantly during this time frame. I'm also going to walk through how you can create new streams of predictable revenue in your agency that are highly profitable. And at the end of the day, make your agency actually more sellable and attractive to investors if you ever had that goal at some point with your agency. So the first topic we're going to be covering to make your agency recession proof is necessity. So what happens during a recession? You know, there is less consumer spending, people are earning less, people have less disposable income, you know, price of goods and, you know, inflation starts to have effect. And so people's living expenses increase comparative to their wages and their earning. Therefore, people have less disposable income. When there's less disposable income, there's less consumer spending. When there's less consumer spending, there's less spending on things like luxury items, things like a huge category of goods that you won't see people spending their money on. For example, this is why during COVID, we saw e-com businesses absolutely boom because there was a huge amount of financial stimulus injected into the economy and the large majority of the average consumer had significant amounts more disposable income, coupled with a lot of other factors being that people couldn't travel and so they were spending their money on things that they would never usually spend money on. And so e-com businesses absolutely blew up because online spending went through the roof. But during a recession, there's going to be less disposable income, and so e-com businesses are going to struggle, and those more like non-essential consumer goods like dog costumes and hoodies and, you know, jewelry or, you know, 7 sets of bikinis that your girlfriend might want are going to decrease as a whole. Some other things that will happen in context to niches like real estate, which is a niche that I'm in, during a recession, there is a significant less amount of buyers on the market because there is less people that have cash and that are in a financial situation where they're wanting to acquire properties, but there's a lot more people that are selling. During a seller's market, which is where we've been at for the majority of the past 3 to 5 years, real estate agents significantly require attracting seller opportunities and acquiring sellers to find properties to list their homes. But during a recession, it's a lot more likely that they're going to be able to attract sellers a lot more easily because a significantly higher percentage of the population will be needing to sell their property out of necessity, whereas they're going to struggle a lot more to acquire buyers for homes, and developers are going to struggle to find buyers for off-the-plan projects and things like that. And so that's just how you can see how dynamics shift between even within niches where, you know, right now we might be prioritizing primarily helping real estate professionals with seller acquisition. In the heat of a recession, we might be prioritizing helping real estate professionals find buyers for projects and buyers for residential homes. So what I'm getting at with this topic of necessity is that businesses that in themselves are necessities will maintain and will be okay, and also services that you provide at your agency to other businesses that are necessities are good services to offer as well. So focus on businesses and niches that are selling something essential. So some examples are real estate, mortgage brokers, dentists, physiotherapists, home improvement companies like home repairs, used car dealerships, cleaning services, things like childcare. That's just like a few that I'm rattling off, but those are all essential businesses that are requirements just for day-to-day life. People are not going to stop buying and selling property. People are not going to stop putting their children into children's care. People are not going to stop going to the dentist. If they need something fixed at their home, they're not going to stop doing that. These are all necessities. So as well as the niche and the industry that we want to align our services with who we're thinking about providing our services to, we want them to be essentials and we want them to be needed in the marketplace. We also want the service that we're selling to be a necessity to our clients. Because if we're providing a service that's just a convenience or something that's nice to have or something that if they remove that expense off their plate that it wouldn't be too bad, then it's going to be very easy for our clients to drop off when times get tough. So as just like a high level concept, that's how you want to be thinking about your service. You want to be designing a service that if your clients didn't have your service, they would be significantly worse off without. If your service is positioned that way, then you should probably start thinking about how you can make it meet that criteria a lot more closely. The next strategy to make your agency recession proof is to become more efficient. One thing that is dangerous about good economies is that it allows inefficient businesses to still get results and still perform well. And so you can be running an average business, but because the marketplace is in a prosperous state, your business can still run okay because there's a lot of money to go around. But in the long run, the most efficient businesses are always going to win. And so if you are improving your business's efficiency now before times get tough, you're going to have a lot more capital. You're going to have a lot larger of a war chest. You're going to be more profitable, and your business is going to be able to wear a storm for a lot longer. So the first thing to focus on is internal efficiency and profitability. So what you want to do is you just want to audit your expenses relatively regularly, at least once a month. Look at all of your subscriptions. Look at the different service providers and contracts that you're paying for. Death by 1,000 cuts is very, very real, and it's often the things that we don't worry about, we don't think about, you don't care if that expense is coming out, that causes the business to be less and less efficient. So do an audit of your expenses, do an audit of the roles of your team members. Is your team currently utilized to the full capacity that they could be? Could you have one person that's actually meeting the responsibilities of multiple roles? Or maybe they're not actually producing the amount of value or efficiency that they could be in the company. Next, look at what elements of your service don't actually need to be delivered. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I've gotten from some very high-level mentors is that in their regular kind of leadership level strategy meetings, one of the things that they're always talking about the majority of the time is what can we remove from the business and how can we make things more simple and efficient as opposed to new opportunities and new things that we can add to the business. Often we have elements to our service offering that we've added because we think it's nice, we think it adds value, or we think that the customer would perceive it as a good element of the product. But often there's, it's the typical 80-20. Usually there's 20% of what you're providing, which is actually producing 80% of the results. And so we want to just do an audit of our service and look at, okay, what part of our service is producing the majority of the results and what is actually time consuming, labor intensive, or things that could be easily removed and wouldn't negatively impact the result for our clients. Removing things that aren't needed in terms of your fulfillment will reduce your expenses in terms of your direct cost to fulfill your clients, which means you're going to be more profitable in the long run. And the last strategy to make your agency recession proof is to have an affordable offer. And this is one that I'm really doubling down on over the next 6 months. So something that I learned from one of my real estate investing mentors when you're structuring a real estate investment portfolio is that you don't want to be having the majority of your portfolio in a small number of high value properties. Say for example, you had a $10 million real estate portfolio. You wouldn't want to split that between two $5 million luxury homes. It's way better to split that between, say, 15 to 20 $500,000 homes. The reason being is because you're diversifying your risk a whole lot more. Because if you think about it, you could have 15 different properties across 15 different locations, and so you're diversifying the risk in potential fluctuations and different rates of growth or decline in property value in different locations. So you're diversifying your risk, but also as well, you're diversifying the risk in terms of cash flow from the rental returns on properties. And so I'll connect the dots between how this connects to the agency business model in a second. But say for example, you had 15 properties that were all tenanted, and then on a given month, maybe you had like 1 month or 2 months where 1 or 2 of your properties had vacancy. then, if that was spread out over 15 properties, you only have a vacancy rate of like 5% across your 15 properties. But let's say you've got your two $5 million properties that are all earning, but I don't know what that would even be, maybe like $8,000 to $12,000 a month. If one of those properties is vacant for 1 to 2 months, then you've got a 50% vacancy rate and your cash flow is affected a lot more significantly. Same thing with your agency. So if we have a low ticket service where we are able to scale that significantly, where we can have, say, like 100 clients on $250 to $500 per month for some kind of a service or an offer that is very, very scalable, it's not very labor intensive whatsoever to scale the fulfillment of that offer, the predictability of that cash flow is going to be significantly higher than a higher ticket service. Because when a business owner is making a decision on a $1,500 to $2,000 per month expense to their business, and they're assessing, is this valuable? Is this profitable for me? Should I be keeping this expense on? They are going to pay a lot closer attention to those types of expenses as opposed to a $200 or a $500 per month expense. And so simply having a low ticket version of your offer that is monthly recurring and spreading that risk across a higher volume of clients is going to mean that your risk is reduced significantly. Not to mention as well is that the pool of potential clients for lower ticket services is significantly higher because there's simply more people that can afford to get into the market for a lower ticket service. Not everyone can afford a $1,500 to $3,000 per month retainer, but say for example, real estate professionals, there is a significantly higher percentage of the market that it's a no-brainer for them to jump into a valuable offer that's $250 to $500 per month, and you can scale that very, very quickly. So one way that I'm executing on this is having a low ticket subscription offer with like a mini course and ongoing like weekly coaching calls, but also having a SaaS offer included in that where we're white labeling Go High Level and selling a white label version of a software for a profit, because then we are providing a utility to our clients. And a utility is completely different to a service, and business owners are way more likely to maintain a utility expense. The retention rate for B2B softwares is ridiculously high, and especially for clients in a sales-based industry like real estate. If you own their CRM, then they're going to stay and they're going to use that CRM for a very long time, even in uncertain times, even when times get tough, because that's the lifeblood of their business. So those are the 3 strategies that you can use to recession-proof your agency, but also things that you can start executing on now to make your agency more profitable and also add some new revenue streams to the agency. That's it for this one. Drop a comment below if you have any questions with regards to scaling your agency. I'm making 1 to 2 videos like this every single week, so if you've got anything that you need help with, anything that you'd like me to cover, drop a comment below and I will create a video on that. And also, if you got some value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss on any more content that I've got coming out. Thank you. Peace.